Okay, so we've all gotten pretty used to generative AI, right? It can write stuff for us, make amazing pictures. It's kind of like having an expert. You can just ask anything. But what if that's just the beginning? I mean, the whole conversation in the tech world is starting to change. It's not just about what AI can tell us anymore, but what it can actually do for us. So what's that next big jump?
Right, so we have AI that can answer our questions, that can chat, but the real game changer here isn't just having a better conversation. It's about letting AI, well, act, to actually do things. We're talking about a shift from a tool that just sits there waiting for you to a really active digital workforce that gets things done.
And this isn't just a small step, It's a huge leap, a totally new way of thinking about AI. We're moving from what we know as generative AI to this next evolution, which people are calling agentic AI.
Here's a great way to think about it. Generative AI, like your ChatGPTs, that's your expert on call. You ask a question, it gives you an answer. It's all about exchanging information. But agentic AI? That's more like a digital worker. You give it a job to do, you set the rules, and it just goes off and does it, semi-autonomously, 24/7, no coffee breaks.
So at its heart, agentic AI is all about doing things, but, and this is super important, within carefully defined boundaries. The magic isn't just that it can act, it's that it can act responsibly and predictably, inside the guardrails you set up. And that whole shift, from just talking to actually doing, is what we're going to unpack here.
Okay, so if you've got this powerful new tech, where's the first place you test it out? You're not going to start somewhere low stakes, right? No, you go straight to the deep end. We're talking about places where a single mistake can have massive consequences. Industries like banking and insurance. These are the ultimate proving grounds for an AI that can act.
See, in a world like finance, the last thing you want is a creative AI. It can actually be a huge liability. It's like this quote says, they need consistent, reliable answers. They can't have an AI just making stuff up or hallucinating, especially when a regulator is breathing down their neck. Predictability is everything.
And for these industries, the rules are absolutely non-negotiable. Any AI agent has to be perfectly compliant. It has to use only their internal data, no going off script. Security has to be ironclad, so no data leaks. And every single thing it does has to be traceable so it can be audited. I mean, the stakes just couldn't be higher.
So you're probably thinking the biggest roadblock here is technical, right? Like, oh, you gotta have perfect data. But what if I told you that's not it at all? What if the #1 reason these ambitious AI projects totally crash and burn has nothing to do with data?
I mean, for years, every tech team has lived by the mantra, garbage in, garbage out. But what's so wild about agentic AI is that you can have the most pristine, perfect, real-time data in the world, and the project can still be a complete disaster.
So what gives? What's the real showstopper here? What's this hidden wall that's stopping companies from unleashing these powerful digital workers?
It all comes down to one simple word: trust. The biggest hurdle isn't a technical problem, it's a people problem. It's organizational. It's about getting the business side of the house to actually trust a semi-autonomous system to go and do things for them. And that's all about accountability, oversight, and governance.
Okay, so how do you actually build that trust? Well, you don't just flip a switch. It starts with a really solid foundation. First, you have to get a handle on your risks and controls. Then, you need a central team, a center of excellence, to kind of quarterback the whole effort. After that, you get your internal policies in line, and this is the big one. You build in auditability from day one. Every action has to be traceable.
But look, even if you have a great plan for building trust, there are still some major traps you can fall into. We're talking about hidden pitfalls that can sink the whole project, long after the initial build is done.
And there are two really big ones to watch out for. First mistake, getting distracted by all the shiny new tools before you've even figured out your strategy and built that foundation of trust. And the second mistake, forgetting that just building the AI agent is only the very, very beginning. The real costs, well, they're hiding under the surface. Check this out. That initial build, which feels like the huge expense, that's only about 20% of the total cost of ownership. The other 80%, the massive majority, is all ongoing maintenance, cleaning up data, and just the raw computing power to keep these things running. If you don't plan for that from the start, your costs are going to spiral out of control and completely wipe out any benefits.
So, as we're wrapping up here, it's pretty clear that the future of this stuff, the agentic enterprise, isn't really about having the fanciest AI model or the fastest code. It all comes back to something way more human, building that rock-solid foundation of trust. You know, control and trust, they really do go hand in hand. You can't have one without the other. There's just no way you can have a digital workforce acting on your behalf without an absolutely unbreakable, auditable system of trust watching its every move.
And that leaves us with one last really important question to think about. As all these companies are rushing to get in on the next wave of AI, they've got to ask themselves a tough question. Are we just building cool tools, or are we actually building the trust that's going to make them work?